Thank you again for coming. We are at part 4 of our 4-part series for Dating with the Stars. This is a series that I designed to help you navigate your relationships better using a cosmic lens, giving you objectivity between your dynamics, and hopefully help you deepen the relationship to yourself as well along the way. We have reached our final Friday. A little bittersweet. We went through moon care, and Venus values. We went through the seventh house of marriage. We'll touch base on all of those things today as well as a review because they do provide essential building blocks to synastry and composite charts, which is where you're going to put all of that knowledge that we've gained from the past 3 parts of this series and mesh it all together to get synastry and composite, which again is a extremely practical tool and beautiful way to use astrology. For those of you who are unfamiliar with me, my name is Kelsey. I am a cosmic coach, and if you enjoy my coaching style, I would love to get in touch with you and go over your own personal chart and strengths and weaknesses and strategize with you on how to conquer and create success and stability in your life. If you were here on my week 2 for Venus values, then you know that I have a Virgo Venus, which is all about help. My love language is helping and giving um, self critique or helpful critiques for you to work with. And it's all about self-improvement with me. So I hope that you're getting that energy off of me already and that you've been able to utilize the information so far in a very practical and grounded way. Getting with me on a one-on-one session will get way deeper than I'm able to in just a free reading here or there at the end of class. So definitely check out my service menu, which is on Zodiac Juice Astrology in my bio on Instagram, as well as zodiacjuiceastrology.com. And check out my free monthly podcast that releases every first of the month. Tomorrow, there will be a brand new episode. You can find that on, I think, most podcast platforms, definitely Spotify and Apple, so the big ones, but on YouTube as well, so that you can get the monthly medicine. I'll pull a tarot card or tarot reading at the end for us to reflect on as the month unfolds, and I'll go over the astrology and what you can expect for the month ahead. So definitely check that out. I would appreciate any feedback, uh, a like, a share, anything small is a wonderful way to support a small business owner like me. Word of mouth and sharing are so extremely valuable. If you can't get a reading at this moment, sharing about it is also a way to support. So I appreciate that in advance. And I did not include this page in the past couple slides, but I want to just really reiterate some disclaimers about this course. Your chart is to be taken in a holistic view. So, you know, if the moon sign or the Venus sign didn't resonate for you, there's a reason for that because everything is taken into a much larger picture and a holistic view with astrology. So you're not just your sun sign, you're not just your moon sign, you're not even just how your sun and moon get along because there's a whole lot of complexities and nuance to who you are, and to get in the weeds and dissect that and see how that's all working together is really what astrology is. I think it's like self-care for really um, analytical people, maybe, or very just spiritual people. It provides a language, an energetic language and tool to help us navigate and work through these flows and cycles that we are in and that we experience. So tracking the cycles of your life can be extremely valuable when it comes to improving your life and improving your well-being. So I encourage you to keep a journal during the upcoming eclipses. I'm telling you, it is such a life hack you will enjoy, but again, trust your intuition, not your anxiety. Astrology is a tool. It is meant to self-empower, not self-scare. If something about astrology is scaring you, then that is not the astrology for you. So, use your self-agency. I really get upset when people say like they're scared of something that they read because astrology is meant to self-empower you. And, you know, getting realistic can be a little scary for some people, but hopefully you're able to just turn this perspective upside down and get value out of the information instead of fear. That is really the idea. So today we're going to be reviewing part 4. Can I put this down? Sorry, I'm trying to move something. Ah, okay. So today we're going over part 4, synastry and composite charts. So what the heck are synastry and composite charts? Well, lucky for you, we're going to go over the difference and definition of what those are very shortly, as well as reviewing the astro basics, which are like the astrology alphabet that is super essential, foundational information that we want to be drilling and getting in our heads when we're talking astrology because everything builds on in layers. So knowing the basics is super important. Synastry and composite basics is something that we'll review again today. Hopefully, you'll be able to jot down some notes. And if this is ahead of your current astrological understanding, then you're in the right place because you want to challenge yourself and listen to material that challenges you as well, and hopefully be able to take this information home with you and start to apply it and understand it and learn it more for yourself. So if this is just a lot of information, don't worry. Just take the little pieces that you do get it, and I promise it will make sense eventually. There's going to be a lot of resources that I can recommend to you, including a book called Sky Mates is a great beginner for synastry. Um, but yeah, don't get discouraged. This is a lot of information at a pretty intermediate level today. So we're going to hopefully go through it chunk by chunk to build um, and review our knowledge so that it doesn't get too confusing too quick. And of course, we'll do live readings at the end, so hopefully you know how to calculate your own birth chart. Step 1 on astro.com is charts and calculations. I think I had this as free charts last week, and that is incorrect. So if you're having trouble, it's charts and calculations, then you're going to click extended chart selection, and then you'll change the default settings in the house system to whole signs. And then for synastry or composite, you will also need to change the chart type to either synastry or composite. And we'll review that at the end of class as well. So in part 1, we reviewed our moon sign is our non-negotiable needs. This is super important in compatibility because it's how we feel safe and it's how we act when we are in the comfort of our own self. It's really, the sun sign is what everybody sees most of the time. But the moon sign is really people who know us the best. So obviously your one-to-one relationships know you on a more intimate level. The moon is a more intimate planet. And there is a more intimate compatibility that's required for the moon than there is with the sun. So if you have clashing sun signs, but your moon signs are of the same element, then you're actually more compatible than if you had compatible sun signs. Hopefully, that's not too confusing, but the moon is definitely something we are looking at when we're looking at compatibility. The Venus sign is another big one that we are looking at because Venus is what we find attractive. It's what we value. It's what we want to invest in. It's our love language and it's our wants in a relationship. It's how we want to be treated and loved. And then, of course, the 7th house, which is opposite of the 1st house, shows us our mirror, the mirror to the self. It is the sunset to the sunrise. It is the opposite that attracts to our approach at life and our expression and shows our most ideal one-to-one compatible relationship traits. So just a quick review, when you're looking at the chart, you'll see the Venus symbol is located at 5 degrees of Aries in this chart. This is showing this person has a Venus in Aries, that's their wants. And then if this was a birth chart, this person would have the moon in Leo at 24 degrees of Leo. These symbols, hopefully you're getting pretty familiar with the glyphs. I know it can be a lot when you're first digesting astrology because there's just a lot of new information and new things that you're learning the secret code to. But I think the moon and Venus are pretty easy and pretty commonly represented so that they're identifiable in the chart. And then the seventh house is going to be represented by the number seven, and it will be opposite of the first house. So if you know oppositions and you know that you are a Taurus rising, for example, then your opposite is Scorpio, meaning Scorpio would be in your seventh house. Of course, in this chart, the first house is in Pisces. So this person has a Virgo seventh house. And I did block out the Virgo with this arrow, but that is their opposite. And then just a little extra for those of you who are looking for a little more advanced information. Juno is an asteroid that um, we all have located somewhere in our chart that will give an additional layer when it pertains to the marriage partner specifically. So the seventh house is contracts and all important one-to-one relationships. But the asteroid Juno will also be layered in something you're looking for in a marriage partner specifically. So sometimes you'll see this incompatibility play a big role. Somebody's sun or moon will be in the exact same spot as your Juno was, meaning that you are looking for exactly that type of personality or essence to marry. And another visual reminder of how the rising sign operates. Knowing the exact time of your birth is super critical because the timing of which constellation was rising on the eastern horizon sets up the structure for your entire birth chart. So you want to know it like down to the exact minute. They change about every 2 hours, but even minutes, and you'll see that with twins, like very different life timelines and just experiences overall. So understanding the zodiacal order and the way that it works as well will be important when we get to the slides about the North and South Node later on in this presentation. So just remember that the zodiac belt rises in the east, and it rises starting in the spring. We'll have the spring equinox, and Aries will be where the sun rises, and the sun will stay kind of like my little marker here in Aries, and then set underneath. And then all this half of the sky will be up in the night and be visible in the night during Aries season because Aries will be beneath during the night. So yeah, the first house is always opposite of the seventh house. So now let's get into the juicy part. We're talking synastry versus composite. So what is a synastry chart? A synastry chart shows us our one-to-one personal dynamics. And I like to say it's how we illuminate each other in the chart. And I'm going to show visual examples of that to make that a little more clearer. But basically, it's taking your chart and another person's chart and layering the two charts on top of each other and seeing how they line up. So I put these little puzzle pieces down here because in my mind, it kind of reminds me of like you're making this puzzle and seeing what pieces fit together really smoothly and what pieces are, there's going to be struggle or friction or things to overcome. Now, we like struggle and tension in relationships and in life because this is what motivates us to work through things and get shit done. And also, like, hello, a little like physical tension is never bad in a relationship either. So, depending on the planet, tension can be a really good thing. So, just know there's never just a simple answer in astrology. It's all very layered. So the synastry reveals a lot of information between the inner dynamics between you and another person versus the composite chart is when